Welcome to the Broen?
What? Oh, sorry. Are we starting? Sorry.
Oh yeah, we're
Sorry,
starting.
Sorry, I didn't realize we were starting already. Sorry.
Did you guys see
I was
Broen?
I was busy. I was doing something in there. I was yeah. Anyways, I'm here now and I'm ready to go.
Busy coming out of the closet, eh?
Shut up. I'm here. That's what matters.
For the listeners, he's wearing a Spider-Man mask. If anybody, he was in his closet wearing a Spider-Man mask. I think most people listen. We have like 2 people that watch on YouTube. Anyway, welcome to the Flix Capacitor Podcast. Episode 15.
Damn.
15.
15.
15. I mean, 16 weeks we've been doing this. That's crazy.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's really nuts. And
So,
we've had 2 guests. We're having a third this month at some point. Don't know when, but it's going to happen at some point.
we're not just saying that. We're already talking to the guy about it.
Yeah.
we're
We're
not
not
just-
just like pretending. So I have 2 things to start. This is my movie news for you though, okay?
Okay.
But I wanted to tell you on the podcast. First, I have finally, I'm not done with it. I have like 30 minutes left, but I finally am watching Fellowship of the Ring for the first time.
No way. For the first time? Did I know that you hadn't
Never
seen
seen 'em.
those?
Yeah, we talked about it on an episode a while ago, but I mean, it's not like you probably forgot. But yeah, it's my first time, and it's I'm not watching the extended editions. I know you told me to. However, I was like, okay, on the off chance that I don't like this, would I rather spend a longer or shorter amount of time doing it? But now that I know that I like it, I will probably like soon just do a marathon of all 3 extended editions. you know?
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, for sure.
Return of the King
And I'm
is
gonna grab
so
the
fucking
4Ks.
good. I have
Okay,
the
yeah. Which one
4Ks.
is your least favorite?
My least favorite is probably the first one, Fellowship. It's still really good,
Hmm.
but I would rank them in opposite of their actual order. So I would say like Return of the King, Two Towers, Fellowship. Because Return of the King
Wow.
is fucking amazing, dude.
Is it?
Yeah.
I'm very excited. I've heard the 4Ks are like amazing. so I'm very
Unreal.
excited to
Dude, the
watch
4Ks are
Yeah.
phenomenal. Yeah,
heard they're
I have the
amazing.
4Ks extended editions.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, that was part of my movie news, and my second was something I wanted to talk to you about in the last episode, but I forgot. So when we were in California, or like a week or 2 ago, we took the Warner Brothers studio tour, which I was telling you about. We saw like the suits and stuff,
Right.
and they were like, "Does anyone know which Marvel movie shot here?" And I was like, "What?" I was like, "Why would a Marvel movie shoot here? It's owned by Disney."
At Warner
And
Brothers?
I at Warner Brothers, yeah. It's one scene that is not even a minute long, and it's the only scene in the entire MCU shot at Warner Brothers. Do you think you can even guess what movie it is?
It's an MCU movie?
Yeah.
What phase?
I think 2. I think 2. It's 2014, so I want to say 2.
So it's either Guardians or Captain America. Winter Soldier. Because those are the 2 2014 movies.
Maybe it's 2015. Hold on, let me see when this came out.
Is it,
Hold on,
is
hold
it
on.
Ant-Man?
No,
Is it Age of Ultron?
it is Age of Ultron. Is that
Oh, okay.
2015?
Yeah, that's 2015.
It is 2015. Okay, it's Age of Ultron, and it's you're not gonna guess the scene because it is so stupid.
Okay.
It's literally just a scene of Wanda and Pedro talking.
Pietro.
Oh, Pedro. I meant Pietro. It's literally just them talking, and
Oh.
it's less than a minute, and it was shot at Warner Brothers. I could not tell you why.
Yeah, that's weird.
It makes zero sense. It's the weirdest thing in the world, but I thought you'd think that was interesting. Do you have any movie news?
I did. I don't think I do, actually. No, I don't think I do.
I just processed why you're wearing that mask.
Oh, yeah, I should probably... Yeah, we're doing... Okay, so this episode is really exciting. I'm actually really excited for this episode. We're ranking all the Spider-Man movies. Not including Spider-Man appearances, though, right? So we're not including, like, Civil War and Avengers 3 and 4? Okay, yeah, I didn't think so.
No.
Okay.
And we're also... Nice. Very sexy. Here, I wanted to ask you a question. I ranked them really quick because we decided to do this episode about an hour ago. I ranked them really quickly, and I ranked them in terms of order of which, like, I'd want to watch them, if that makes sense. But
like,
I like personally, okay, if I had to
like
rank
rewatchability,
enjoyment, watchability, and just like, okay, if somebody was like, hey, you need to watch a Spider-Man movie right now, which I would choose back to back. But then thinking about it later, I was like, should we rank them as Spider-Man movies, not personal preference?
Oh, I ranked actually mine, it kind of goes for both. No, mine is
well, that's the
preference.
thing. It's so hard because you could honestly make 3 lists out of these.
It's like Batman. We were saying that about Batman.
Oh yeah, like objectively, like the best adaptation, most enjoyable personally, and like objectively just as a movie. Because those are 3 very different lists.
I'll say this. My number one favorite is it's my number one favorite because it is, I think, the most accurate Spider-Man movie. Like, it is the most Spider-Man movie.
I think that's...
and that's why
3,
it's my favorite.
To be honest, for me. Well, I think we should do, like, as Spider-Man movies, not personal favorites. I think it'd be a little more interesting. I think we could find some more common ground there. Or no, maybe less common ground there, actually. Because I feel like in terms of enjoyment, most lists are fairly similar. But I think
that's where I think it's different because if you say ranking on like accuracy, then those are going to be the same because everyone's going to say, oh, well, Tom Holland's are the least accurate because he's just Iron Man Jr. But enjoyment wise,
I mean, I think if you're talking to people with personalities, then it'll be like a decent list. You know,
yeah.
I don't know, just like, I don't know. I feel like because in terms of enjoyability, if you're talking to somebody that's older than 14, it's probably gonna be like fairly the same, or like in the generally like in the same area.
Mine is pretty
you think
unpopular.
So?
I would say mine is a little unpopular.
Okay. I think mine is too. Now that I'm saying this and looking at it, I think mine is too.
Why don't we just say the list that we have? Because the reason I said we should do this episode, well, when you suggested it, the reason I like jumped on it is because I've had this list for months already.
Yeah, I've probably like ranked them before, but in terms of enjoyability, it also changes from month to month. It just depends.
Not for
but
me.
All right, yeah, I'll keep them how it is now for me.
Before I brought okay, so not only do I have the mask, I did bring out all of my Spider-Man figures. Do you want me to do a speed run of all the figures I have?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, do we want to do this for the people that are listening?
I'll say it. I'll say what they are.
Okay. I'm not gonna
I'm not gonna give a whole spiel and like review on each figure. I'm just saying what they are.
Okay, all right, go ahead.
And
Speed
I will
run.
say
you have 30 seconds.
Wait, hang on. Before I start, I will say, even though Spider-Man is only my second favorite superhero after Batman, the reason I don't have Batman figures, and I have one Batman figure, but the reason I have all these Spider-Man figures is because they make all these Spider-Man figures. And the Hasbro figures are a hell of a lot better than the McFarlane DC figures. I hate McFarlane. Those figures are shit.
Like the DC Multiverse run or whatever that they put out.
Figures.
Yeah. I'm just now kind of like getting into the figure world and like debating on if I want to do that.
It's a rabbit hole. You know, you kind of sink a little
well, that's
bit.
what I'm worried about. I've already gone down the rabbit hole of film on physical media. So it's like, well, do I want to eat food and pay rent, or do I want to look at Spider-Man on the shelf? But I think I've come to a conclusion. If I'm gonna buy figures, it's gonna be just a few, and they're gonna be Hot Toys, and that's why it's just a few, because they're gonna be expensive as fuck.
Yeah.
Like, I just want all 3 Spider-Men, but the Hot Toys. That's all I want.
Right. Okay.
What do you have for me?
I'm getting them ready. Yeah, Hasbro makes phenomenal figures, both Marvel and Star Wars, because I have both collections, Marvel and Star Wars. Also, I will point out that all of my Spider-Man figures are retro comic variations. None of them are from the movies.
Okay. This is like the geekiest, dorkiest episode that we've had yet. Yeah.
I am showing my true colors in this episode. I'm a huge fucking nerd. Like, not only do I collect movies, I collect action figures, I collect Legos.
Did you know that the plural for Lego is Lego?
I actually did know that, yeah.
Can't believe that you just said Legos on live television.
I'm sorry.
Oh, dude, speaking of both Lego and Lord of the Rings, yes, Lego put out a Lord of the Rings set today.
I know, it's like $500. Oh, shit.
Of course it is, dude. Everything they put out is $500. You know what I have sitting in a box right now that I've had for a year and like 3 months now?
What?
I have the Lego Daily Bugle set just sitting in a box waiting to be built.
How have you not built that?
Okay, because Brianna and I got it together. We split the cost, which is something we don't do very often because it's like dumb if you're in a relationship. But we're like, this is something that's expensive. We're gonna grab it from the Lego store in New York City, and we'll build it together. But we were like, okay, do we want to build this and then move in 8 months with it built? And we were like, no, we'll just build it when we get to the place. So we already have a bunch of other Lego sets to like move. Like, I have the Lego grand piano that plays itself, and
oh my gosh.
And yeah, I bought that with my tax return 2 years ago. That was a mistake. And then I have like the 89 Batmobile, which is amazing. She has the haunted house. We have a couple of those. This is like the most uninteresting, geeky episode that we've had yet. All right, go. Spitfire.
Okay. Retro Spider-Man. Renew Your Vows Spider-Man. First appearance, Amazing Fantasy 15 Spider-Man. Spider-Man 2099. Symbiote Spider-Man. Miles Morales. This is actually from the video game because the retro Miles Morales is like really, really expensive and hard to find. So this is from the PS4 video game, Miles Morales. Spinneret, which is MJ from the Renew Your Vows 2-pack. Iron Spider, the comic variation of Iron Spider, not MCU version. Peter Parker. J. Jonah Jameson. Green Goblin. Doc Ock.
Oh my god.
Electro. Vulture. Sandman. Shocker. Mysterio. The Lizard. Retro Venom from like the cartoon, with all the blue and red shading, and then just a Venom figure from the night the night one. I forgot what it's called. And Carnage, which I also forgot to. It's not with me. It's in another storage bin. The Venom figure was a 2-pack, and it came with Null, who is the symbiote god, but he's in another box. So yeah, those are all my Spider-Man figures. Not all my Marvel figures. I have more Marvel figures, but those are all my Spider-Man figures. I am not a virgin.
That's what I was gonna say. I was gonna say on this episode of How to Be a Virgin.
All I'm gonna say is that I am not a virgin.
So you say, but you know, I don't know if action figures count. You know,
blow up dolls do. Anyways, we're gonna jump right into this.
We're gonna jump right into the sex doll, baby.
Which is also the ranking of all the Spider-Man movies.
Ranking different brands of sex dolls. Number 1, my custom Broen sex doll. Oh my god. Oh man, sorry guys.
Okay, so you have 9 movies on your list, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I want to watch. We need to watch like the Japanese Spider-Man. I've never actually seen it, and like the 77 movie. Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So go ahead with your number 9. You can start us off.
Number 9 for me is 2007's Spider-Man 3.
Okay. Why?
For fairly obvious reasons. I do enjoy it. Would I say it's a bad movie? Probably. Yeah. But I really enjoy watching it.
I think Andrew would be really disappointed in you.
Oh, well, I don't give a fuck. Andrew defends this movie. So yeah, Andrew, I know you're like our number 1. Oh my god, he's gonna blog us. I know you're our number 1 listener, but Spider-Man 3 is a really terrible movie. It's really a horrible movie. Now there's so much potential in that movie, and so much that is good, but I don't know. Okay. Here's it's like this. Making a great meal, making a great meal, 10 out of 10, and then pouring it into a pile of dog shit, and then like to still enjoy it, you got to like pick out the good pieces. You know what I mean?
Well, Sandman without a doubt is the best part of the movie.
Yeah.
Because that's the part that you could tell that Raimi had full control over. Because it's very public knowledge that Sam Raimi does not like Spider-Man 3, that he did not want Venom to be in the movie. Everyone knows that.
Mm-mm.
You know?
Well, I would say that it proves that he had full control over Sandman stuff, but also was passionate and cared about the Sandman stuff. And I think that is the biggest thing here. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Because he actually cared. He didn't really care about Venom. Also, MJ is ridiculously annoying in this movie. They're finally
like
in
fairly
a relationship.
Annoying in every movie.
Yeah, but they're finally in a relationship, and she bitches about every little thing he does when he's fucking Spider-Man, dude. He is Spider-Man.
Yeah.
He is the hero savior, and you're bitching about not getting the attention that you want because you're not a good actress. Straight up, you're not a good actress, and then you bitch about it.
Literally, he's the reason that she's alive from multiple occasions, and she's still like, really? You're not going to buy us dinner tonight? Really?
Really?
Oh, really? You're saving other people?
You're going to talk to your classmate? When she came up and approached you, you didn't just get up and bitch slap her?
Oh my god. Mary Jane is like objectively the worst parts of those movies, I think.
Oh, I think she's worse than Venom.
Yeah, dude. Okay, # release the Venom cut of every Spider-Man movie that Sam Raimi did and just replace her with Topher Grace. That's all I want.
Perfect. Okay, I would say, do you have anything else to say about it?
I mean, no, because we'll probably do a deep dive on it.
Okay.
But it's just, it doesn't adapt the character super well in most of it. And Peter feels, I don't know. It's
because they go back.
Maybe I just feel that way because of the way that the movie handles everything.
Yeah.
That I just don't feel the heart and energy of the character in the movie. but that may not be. I mean, it's obviously not Sam Raimi's fault, and we know that.
And also,
but,
something that was like a cliffhanger in Spider-Man 2, but Harry finding his father's lair and finding the Goblin formula. It's like, holy shit, this is a huge cliffhanger from the second movie. And it kind of felt a little underwhelming in the third movie because he was also kind of annoying about it. He was also just really whiny, and didn't really have anything.
It just like started immediately with him like, fully. And it was just like, okay, so he's just mastered all of this shit within a couple months.
And he's just like right off the bat decides to kill his best friend when he doesn't even like hear him out on anything. He just decides to kill him.
Dude, and you know what sucks is that Bernard, or according to James Franco, Bernard, after so many years was like, oh, no. Spider-Man didn't kill your dad. He killed himself.
Yeah.
And James Franco's like, why wouldn't you tell me that 8 years ago? Like, what the fuck, Bernard? Oh, my God, dude. Anyway, yeah, I fully agree with you on the Goblin stuff, but we'll deep dive into the entire trilogy, so I'll stop talking for now.
Well, okay, I'll say this. My number 9 is not Spider-Man 3.
Really?
Yeah. Now,
so again, your list is in terms of enjoyability, right? And also, like, it's kind of a mixture between. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Because, but let me say this, because we did say this earlier, and I just want to rephrase it. Unlike the Batman ranking, every single movie on this list I love with all my heart. I fucking love them. I will never get tired of them. My number 9 is not, I don't think of it as the worst Spider-Man movie. It is just my personal least favorite. And that is 2012's The Amazing Spider-Man.
Really? Wow.
Yep.
That's crazy.
Yep.
Okay. Well, here's the thing. I fully agree with you in terms of I love all of these movies. It's just some are objectively better than others, and even though I love them and my favorite character or one of my favorite characters is in them, the filmmaking still stops me from liking them more, obviously.
Right.
So I completely get what you're saying. I am so shocked that one is your last. That's
here's why. Let me say why.
Crazy.
Let me say why it's my least favorite. Okay.
Okay.
This is not a big deal, but I do not like the suit pretty much like at all. I really don't like the suit. Also,
all right.
I don't like that his whole motivation is to get revenge on Uncle Ben's killer. That doesn't really sit right with me. Like,
okay. Here's the thing. People say that. However, that was Tobey's motivation in the beginning as well. And
but that wasn't
not his motivation.
No. Hang on. That's not why Tobey became Spider-Man, though. Tobey did it in the heat of the moment. And then afterwards, it wasn't until after his graduation when he remembered what Uncle Ben said that he realizes what he has to do.
Yes.
And he didn't intend on killing Uncle Ben's killer. You know, he fell. Like Peter didn't push him.
Yeah,
he just cornered him, and then he backed up.
What was he there for? What was he gonna do? Like give him a stern talking to? Okay, Broen. Here's the thing.
I don't think he would have killed
Andrew Garfield. I don't know if he would have killed him. However, Andrew Garfield did not become Spider-Man
until
when he started chasing. Yes, so that's the difference. Is that yes, his motivation at first was to go after Uncle Ben's killer, which is a storyline in plenty of comics, but also it makes plenty of sense. Like, okay, I'm really angry about this thing that happened. I'm just gonna go do good things with this now. So as an irresponsible, emotionally devastated and angry teenager, that was his first I should do this with these new powers, right? And so he didn't become Spider-Man out of revenge. He just how do I want to phrase this?
He still made the suit. He still made the web shooter gadgets. Like,
of course, but that is not becoming Spider-Man. Having the powers and making the suit is not becoming Spider-Man. I mean, Venom has the powers ish. He's not Spider-Man, because being Spider-Man is so much more than the powers, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I do.
Now, I still get why you say it, because the movie could have portrayed it better. However,
because he was like, it was full on vengeance, because when he the scene when the scene before he has any, you know, web shooters, or even the red mask that he had and the beanie, before even that, when he was in that alley and he got chased by all those thugs after, you know, beating one's ass, at the very end of that chase scene, he catches the guy as he's falling, and he checks to see if he has the tattoo. And when he notices that he doesn't have the tattoo, that's when he pulls him up. That's straight up vengeance. Mm-hmm. You know, he had an agenda. And then even when he did have the suit, and his first time with the suit, when he gets the carjacker webbed up against the wall, and he checks to see if he has the tattoo, when he realizes he doesn't, he says, "Oof, this could have gotten a lot worse."
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
That kind of shows me that he was going to kill him.
And he probably would have. But that's the difference, is that at the time, he really wasn't Spider-Man yet. He's still this angry, you know, grieving teenager. You know what I mean? Who just wants to get revenge. And that is... If the bridge scene didn't happen, I would 100% agree with you.
Yeah.
But because we see the moment of him choosing to go after Dr. Connors to learn more about his father and potentially, you know, investigate more into this case, or save these people that he doesn't know. And that is the moment, obviously, that he becomes Spider-Man. So it's not as big an issue for me as it is for some people. However, I get it. You know what I mean? Considering how it's done.
Here's another thing, though. And I kind of say this, like, I'm kind of going back on what I said on, like, you know, Spider-Man's not supposed to, like, go out for revenge against Uncle Ben's killer. But because they did that in the movie, I automatically am wanting to see that happen, you know, because it's like, oh, he's like, this is the plot of the movie. Okay, like, I want to see the satisfying ending where he catches Uncle Ben's killer, and then he doesn't.
Yeah.
Like, they just drop it.
Honestly, I've never thought about it. I wonder if, because as we know, Sony chops everything up and does what they want to do. I wonder.
Yeah, no kidding.
If, like, in an original cut or script, he did.
Maybe. I'm not sure. Or maybe they were going to bring him back in, like, the third movie. Before the third one was canned.
Maybe. I mean, I don't know. We could talk for hours about how this franchise could have been the best thing ever, but turned into one of the worst. Yeah. But I've never really thought about that, but I do get that, because in Spider-Man 2002, he does find him, and there's some kind of closure there for him. But I guess you could make the argument that him not finding him and just kind of accepting what happened is the closure. Yeah, but I think if that was the goal, they could have actually done that. So I guess.
It's the thing is that they never bring it up again. That's the point, is that they never bring it up again.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I never thought about that.
Now I have one more. Oh, okay. Go ahead.
Go ahead. Well, we'll do a deep dive on this for sure.
Okay, I have one more issue with the movie, and the reason why it's my least
so far we've got the beginning of why he you know starts to use his powers, and also the suit, and now what's last?
I don't like the Lizard.
Design or the character?
Both. I think he's kind of dumb.
Wow.
I think the Lizard is a great villain. I don't think they did his character correctly. I don't like that he became, like, sadistic and evil. I don't like that. The Lizard is supposed to be a good man that is turned into a monster and has no control. He doesn't, like, I mean, I'm sure there are versions of Curt Connors where he does become evil with the serum, but I don't prefer that version of the character.
Well, yeah, you know? and you know what? I love that you just said that, because so many people will go, that's not right, but you said it may be right, but I don't like it. And that is so important to talk about, like, when talking about movies. I get it. Well,
I know that the original, that the base version of the Lizard is Dr. Kirk Connors, who is a good guy that turns into a monster on accident. That is the base character. That's what I prefer. Like, I think the perfect version of the Lizard is in the Spectacular Spider-Man cartoon. That Lizard
Dude, I forgot to tell
perfect.
you. I forgot to tell you. My grandpa voiced a character in the Spectacular Spider-Man. Yeah.
Get out.
Okay, so swear to God, the other day, so Brianna and I were talking about his IMDb because she was trying to tell her mom, I met Parker's grandpa, here's all the stuff he's in. Oh, he's in this terrible 1978 Doctor Strange movie. Oh, he was on New Girl. He was did Godzilla, whatever. And then she was like, Spectacular Spider-Man. I was like, what the fuck? I was like, whoa, no way.
Wait, what? Is he just a bystander or is he actually a character?
I'm sure he like did like one or two because he's like a character actor, so he doesn't stick around for anything.
Right.
But it's, I haven't personally watched the show from start to finish, but if I did, I could point him out.
Dude, you should. It's on Netflix and Disney Plus. It is a great fucking show. I know for a fact you will love it.
I'm going to start it tonight now. I didn't know it was streaming anywhere.
No, you should. You should absolutely start it tonight. It is my second favorite Spider-Man adaptation ever after the game. Like, I think it's better than any of the movies when it comes to a Spider-Man adaptation. It is fucking perfect. It's such a good show, but it's only 2 seasons long because it got canceled because Sony is a bunch of bitches.
Yeah, fuck you, Sony. Back to the movie. I get what you're saying 100% about the Lizard, which I in the movie, he is a good guy who does turn into a monster, but it's not fully because of the Lizard stuff that's going on. And I think that's where they kind of lose me a little bit. He's not just a monster because of this Lizard thing. He's become, without the Lizard, he probably would have gotten to this point, if that makes sense.
He's become a product of the evil corporation of Oscorp.
Yes, because at first he was genuinely trying to do good. He was trying to heal and help people. And even at the end, that's still, his priority is to heal, help, evolve, and make people better as a race. But it doesn't lean into that enough, and I totally get what you're saying. So yeah, I would like to, and I don't love the design either. I don't think it's horrible. I think it looks amazing in terms of like photo realness. Like the CG in these movies is fucking amazing. But I love the snout. I want the snout.
I prefer the snout. I was gonna say I prefer the snout. 100%. I think this is like an ideal Lizard design.
Yeah, it's great. But also it's 2012 and they're trying to do what The Dark Knight did and make things more realistic. And so while it works for a lot of things like physics, which I love in The Amazing Spider-Man, he just kind of looks like a green dude instead of a lizard, which a bit of a bummer, Yeah. Same with well, we'll talk about that later when we get to. So your number 9 is The Amazing Spider-Man. That's crazy.
Yep.
But
I still love it. 8? There's still a lot about it I love. Yeah, what's your number 8?
What would you give it out of 10? As in, obviously objectively or like personally?
Personally, I would give it personally and objectively, I'd give it a 7. Because I still think overall it is a good movie. I think Andrew is incredible.
Oh, I mean him and Emma Stone. I mean they.
Oh yeah, and that's another thing is that Emma Stone is the best love interest in all of the Spider-Man movies. Oh,
not even close. Yeah, of course. And what nobody talks about is also Sally Fields as Aunt May.
Yeah.
Her relationship with Peter, even though not seen a ton within the 2 films, is so amazing and heartfelt and real.
Yeah.
I mean, I could watch a whole movie with those two. Like, those two are such fantastic actors. And with Mark Webb being, like, the director with the background that he has, like, with indie, rom-com type stuff, it works. Oh, my God, dude.
And also, Dennis Leary as Captain Stacy is great. I love every scene that he's in.
Oh, yeah. The casting for these movies is, like, almost perfect. I mean, I forget his name, but whoever plays Uncle Ben from Grace and Frankie, I love him as Uncle Ben.
Yeah, he's great too.
And I really love how they did the with great power comes great responsibility scene, and that scene is fucking. dude, like all the scenes with Peter at home wreck me, no matter what they are. Whether he's coming home late and she asks for the eggs, you know, whether he's asking about the briefcase, and even the small moments, when he comes home and he's like, "What's for dinner?" and she's like, "Spaghetti and meatballs." He's like, "Oh fuck," because of what happened at school.
He felt much more like a teenager in this movie.
Yes, and they felt like a family, like a real family, like the way their dynamic works. Oh, Uncle Ben is doing dumb shit and putting wet trophies on the table, and Aunt May doesn't like it. It's like those
these are my bowling
small
trophies.
Moments. Like these small moments, just make these movies, like, bring them to another level, and that's why, even though the Sony editing part of them sucks, that's why they're still so good to me. 7, you give it a 7? I'd probably give it a 7. As a Spider-Man movie, I'd probably give it an 8, maybe an 8.5. Because I do think it does adapt the character well, especially if you're like an Ultimate fan. You know what I mean?
Right. Oh, like Ultimate Spider-Man?
But yeah. If you like the Ultimate comics, I think these are like a pretty, like, great adaptation of those comics.
Yeah, those are great comics, by the way. Great fucking comics.
Yeah.
Ultimate Spider-Man.
Oh yeah.
So good.
Dude. I mean, some of the best.
Yeah. Because it's the modern reboot.
Yeah, it's good.
What would you give Spider-Man 3 out of 10?
Okay. Objectively?
Both
like
objectively and enjoyment.
Enjoyment, like a 7 or an 8. And then as a Spider-Man movie, between a 6 and a 7.
I think the only thing I disagree with, objectively, I'd give it like a 5. Enjoyment, I'd give it an 8.
May bump it up to a 5 if you start to, because you can talk about, the VFX look really good. The score is good. The cinematography is really good. The acting is not good. Like, throughout the whole movie. Like, everyone is just not into it. And it's so crazy because it's got these even like the Aunt May stuff. It's just like, this just doesn't work for me. Like, the whole engagement ring scene when they're talking just does not. I don't know, dude. The whole movie. Whatever. Well, I'm getting mad just thinking about this movie. Okay, ready for my number 8?
Yeah, what's your number 8?
I think you're going to be really surprised and or pissed at me for this.
Okay.
Number 8 is Spider-Verse.
What?
Yeah.
No way.
And it's not because it's not bad whatsoever. I mean, like we said, none of these movies like I hate or anything. I really like the movie. I think visually it's outstanding. It is like one of the most incredible looking movies I've seen in my life. However, I just don't. I don't know. I just don't get it as much as
is
maybe
it because
I just don't
you're
get
racist?
it. Oh, that's right. I hate black people. Hate those fucking guys. Just kidding. Yeah, no, I don't know. It's just.
Wow,
I
that's
really
so
can't
I was
say.
not expecting that.
I didn't think so, and most people are like, "What the?" Like, some people like hold it as the best comic book movie ever, which is fine. I think it's a great movie. Yeah. I think visually it's fucking stunning. It's amazing to look at.
Oh my god!
Yes. I mean, every shot, and I mean it's such a smart movie as well in terms of, okay, the more experienced Peter is at 24 frames a second, and the less experienced Peter is at 12 frames a second. Like, that is so smart. I love that. But as a movie, there's just nothing new there for me, I guess, in terms of story and plot. And so that's where I'm just like, okay, I like this, but I don't think it's that amazing. However, like, some scenes I think are like fucking incredible. Especially, like, I mean, I really like the way they do Miles. I think they do like the relationship with him and his parents really well. And maybe, I mean, I'm going to rewatch it before the new one comes out, obviously. So it might be bumped up, but as of now, in terms of enjoyability, yeah, it's an 8.
Okay. I understand what you mean. I disagree, but I hear what you mean. Yeah.
I get it. Yeah. I fully get why people love it too. It's not like I think it's bad or anything.
My number 8 is Spider-Man 3.
Okay. I thought it would be pretty low. I mean, it's unless you're Andrew for some fucking reason, it's gonna be like bottom 3 because is really horrible.
Now, the reason it's not my least favorite, because it was my least favorite for a while, and then I rewatched it for the first time after a long, like I went years without watching it, and then I decided to rewatch it like a couple years ago, and I was like, I couldn't breathe because I was laughing so hard.
Yeah.
You know,
well,
like it's so, it is such a fun movie to watch because it is so bad. It's like so bad, like the strut, you know,
yeah.
So how could you really not laugh at that? How can you not laugh
of course
at that?
It's, you know, it's a hilarious movie.
How dorky Peter is. He is, and I mean, so dorky in this movie.
The scene of Mary Jane telling him she's found someone else on that little bridge is so terrible, and oh god, dude, it's just everything that's like not Sandman about this movie just sucks so fucking bad, dude.
Yeah,
it's so terrible. You know what's good though? The scene where the symbiote gets on him for the first time. That shot is so good, where you see it like jump onto him, you know?
Yes, I also think the scene of him getting it off and then it falling onto Eddie, I think that's a great scene.
Yeah, that's great.
Because
it's amazing.
That's like Sam Raimi horror.
Oh. And I wish it leaned more into that. Like if he's going to do Venom, or if they're going to force him to do Venom, let him do it his way and make it kind of scary and make him the main focus, because he should have been. No, not with Topher Grace. But that's a different story.
And then one more reason why it's not my least favorite and why I do love it so much, I will have to say a part of it is nostalgic, because it is the first movie that I went to the opening night of when I was 7 years old. My entire family, we took a giant, well, it wasn't like a trip, you know, we went to the movie theater, and it was my whole family. I even brought my best friend with me, and we saw it opening night, and it was incredible. You know, I'll never forget it. My first time going to a movie opening night, and it was Spider-Man 3.
That's great. That's great that you have that memory with this movie.
Yeah, and it wasn't like my first time watching a Spider-Man movie. Like, I had grown up watching Spider-Man 1 and 2, and then when the third one came out, my whole family was excited, and we all went to go see it opening night.
Mm-hmm.
You know, pre-ordered tickets and everything. So yeah, what's your number 7?
Number 6 and number 7 you could honestly swap, because I feel fairly the same about both. But number 7 for me is Far From Home.
Okay.
I really, really like the MCU Spider-Man movies. I really like them a lot.
Yeah,
are they great Spider-Man movies? Not necessarily. No. But I think they're great MCU movies. I think they're funny. I think they're well made.
100%.
I love Michael Keaton. I love Jake Gyllenhaal. Like they're great movies. But just like, okay, if I'm gonna pick a Spider-Man movie to watch, Far From Home's not gonna be like one of the first couple. You know,
it's like if you were to rank the MCU movies, these movies would be very high up. But ranking the Spider-Man movies, you know, they're not gonna be. Yeah, no, I totally
I'd
agree.
say all 3 MCU Spider-Man movies are like top 10 MCU for me.
Yes,
I'd say
100%. Agree.
Yeah. I think probably because I think great.
The Spider-Man trilogy is the best MCU trilogy because every single movie is a banger. Like I don't really have any.
I think it's tied with Captain America. I really like all the Captain America movies. I like the Spider-Man trilogy more only because like the second half of the first Avenger I think is like a little okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is like I don't have any moments like that in the Spider-Man trilogy.
I fully agree with that. And Thor is not a trilogy, and it wouldn't even compare if it was. And Iron Man not really either.
Yeah.
So yeah, you know what? I'll agree. And I love Far From Home as a movie. I'd probably give it like a 9, maybe an 8.5.
Wow. Yeah.
Spider-Man movie, I'd probably give it like a 5, because there's just not much Spider-Man stuff going on, if that makes sense. I mean, they're not in New York, which is fine. It's fun to change the pace. It doesn't do much for the character, but as a movie, I love it.
Yeah. Yeah, I also love you know what, I'll save it when we get to, cuz my Far From Home is
we'll get there.
Yeah.
We'll get there. We'll get there.
So do you have anything else?
No. I think Jake Gyllenhaal was a little underutilized as an actor, but not enough to bug me.
Right. My number 7 is The Amazing Spider-Man 2.
I can't blame anyone for having that movie low on their list. I mean, I'm not saying like it's low in a bad way for you. Obviously,
right?
It's not. But like when people are like, "Yeah, that's bottom for me," I get it. You know.
Here's the thing. I know that you love The Amazing Spider-Man 2. You are the first person I've met that loves it as much as I do. Like, I have never not liked that movie. Ever, you know, I saw it opening night.
Me too.
Yeah, I have always loved it. I think it's a great Spider-Man movie. Because amazing. Andrew is fucking phenomenal in it. You know?
I'd say he's probably even better in this one than the first one.
Yes,
I mean,
no, I
for a good reason.
Agree.
I mean, the character's maturing, obviously, and
yes,
he shows.
He is
oh my god,
the Times Square scene is so good.
There is so much good in this movie, dude. And people say, yes, Amazing Spider-Man 2 and Spider-Man 3 are the worst Spider-Man movies. I'm like, okay, fine. But there is way better Spider-Man stuff in The Amazing Spider-Man 2 than there is in Spider-Man 3. I mean, dude, seeing the opening shot of the emblem and then it fading into him, like sky falling, dude, it is
and it has
the theater and even not at the theater. Oh my.
And it has the best web swinging of any movie.
I mean, these movies, the good stuff is the best stuff out of everything. If that, you know, in my opinion. Yeah. I mean, visual effects. These movies look better than all of the Spider-Man MCU stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
100% agree.
I mean, dude.
Except for Electro in the last battle looked really bad. But other than that,
yeah.
And it was really only one shot. It was when Peter gets to the area. I forgot what it's called. But you know, with all the electricity shit. I forgot what it's called. But
like
when he gets there
and stuff.
Yeah. And Electro is talking to him and he's like, I designed this. Oh, the power grid.
Yes.
He's like, I designed this power grid and I will take back what is rightfully mine, and I will be like a god to them. He looks like a PlayStation character.
Dude, and I know exactly what shot you're talking about, and it's a close-up shot, which makes it even worse. I think it's like fully CG, which makes zero fucking sense considering they had Jamie in the makeup all the time.
I know.
And it's just like, really? You couldn't just call him in for a reshoot for 30 minutes? And have him say these fucking lines? Like you had to digitally recreate him from scratch like that.
Yeah.
I don't know why they did that. I fully know what you're talking about. I fully agree.
But other than that, the CGI is great.
Go ahead. Amazing. And the like I said, like the physics and the physicality. Like it looks like he is really doing this stuff, which is something that the Raimi trilogy obviously doesn't have, which is a sign of the times, I'd say. But the web slinging is just amazing, dude. Oh my god.
Yeah. And now Dane DeHaan's Harry Osborn Green Goblin obviously is the worst part. It's pretty bad.
Yeah.
I think he's really whiny in the movie, which just comes off really annoying. I think it would have been much better and much more emotional if they actually had a good friendship. Like, we got that one scene of them, like, walking, you know, by the, walking on the boardwalk and stuff.
Yeah.
And that was a great
I'm
scene.
getting someone spamming me with calls, and it's like a person I know. I'm just going to pause, like, really quick. Just give me, like, 2 seconds.
Do you want me to stop recording?
Okay? Hold on. No, it's fine. I'm just going to do this really quick. Hold on. Can you hear me, Broen? Are you okay?
Yes, I was trying to call you in the hopes that you would answer because I know that you said you're podcasting.
Oh.
I'm currently on episode 10.
Wait. Hold on. I'm not recording in the podcast. All right. Okay, Broen, it's Brianna, and she is calling nonstop in hopes that we're recording the podcast. So she wants to tell us something.
Oh boy. Okay.
I'm currently on episode 10, and I would just like to say that you guys talk so much about fucking nothing. You really should probably figure out a plan of the things that you're going to talk about, because I just heard like 15 minutes of just weed talk. And I'm like, what is even happening? What is going on right
What
now?
were we talking about?
What you ate when you were stoned, Parker. What is this? Are you...
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
Just like, where are the movies going? Where's the movies?
Did it make you hungry?
No, well, a little bit, yeah. The spaghetti and meatballs you got there, and I was like, oh, that sounds good.
Yeah, sure does. Well, now that you're talking to us about this, you're ruining the flow of this episode. We were in the middle of talking about a movie, just so you know.
You know, honestly, I kind of doubt that, but that's totally fine. You can think what you want.
You know what? I'm going to date Broen instead. I'm really sick of you.
Go ahead and date Rowan. That's fine.
You know what? He'll do more with me than you will.
Hang on.
And I'm not talking about.
I don't want to get. Wait, hang on. Wait, do I get a say in this?
No, you don't get a say in this, Broen. All right, babe. I love you. I'm sorry that our podcast is horrible, but I'll call you when we're done. Okay.
I love you. Okay, bye.
All right, love you. Bye. That's so funny. So I thought something was wrong because I texted her. I was like, I'm recording. Like I can't talk, and she just kept calling, and I was like, oh my god, like someone is dead, and she was just calling to tell us that we suck.
Oh my gosh.
Anyways, all right, go ahead. Go ahead.
Dane DeHaan's Green Goblin. Oh, when they're walking down the boardwalk and they're like reminiscing about, you know, their friendship and stuff. That's a good scene. In all honesty, I kind of think Dane was just miscast. I think he's a good actor. I don't think that character really had much to go for him. Or at least it could have been written a lot better.
Yes, so that's where I'm at. I'm like, okay, he might have been a bad casting, but we'll really never know because no matter who they cast, it would have been just as bad because the writing is so bad.
Yeah, he was just so whiny.
it's which you know makes sense in this to me, like in the sense of he's like a spoiled rich kid. However, here's how I think they should have done it. They could have introduced him in this movie. Fine, no big deal. It's got the same Spider-Man 3 problem. They threw too much shit at once into this movie. Yeah. And so if they had just introduced him, oh my god, I haven't seen you in forever, let's reminisce, let's talk. Just kind of have him there. You know, have this be something good that's happening to Peter. To be ruined in the third movie when he becomes something more. And I think that's where they really could have benefited from having Harry, but because they shoved 15, 20 years of friendship into 20 minutes, it just didn't work at all. And I completely agree. Like, he comes off as whiny and bitchy and annoying.
Now here's the thing about the Rhino. I think,
oh god, Paul Giamatti, dude, from Big Fat Liar. Like, why on God's green earth was he the Rhino?
Actually, I think he was. Okay, here's what I'm going to say about the Rhino in this movie.
Okay.
I have zero issues with the Rhino in this movie. My problem comes with the marketing. Rhino was in every trailer. He was on every poster. They showed that scene of him throwing the manhole cover onto Rhino in that's how every single trailer ended. And then that's exactly how the movie ended.
That's how the movie ended.
They should not at all showed anything about the Rhino. They should not have said Rhino was in the movie. They should have said nothing involving the Rhino in this movie. And then boom, we get the Rhino at the end. It's like, holy shit, that was an awesome little Rhino cameo.
Yeah.
You know, I can't wait for that. That's the only issue I have with it is the marketing.
Oh, I fully agree with you. I don't hate Paul Giamatti as the Rhino. I just think it's funny as fuck.
Yeah. I think if the Rhino wasn't involved in any of the marketing and the movie was the exact same, people would not be saying what they're saying about the Rhino.
Oh yeah, and you know what?
I mean, that.
No problem introducing him in the beginning like they did. I think that's great.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, just leave it the way it is.
Yeah.
It was just the marketing.
Yeah, just don't leave the marketing and honestly maybe don't have the end happen, but I'll save that for the Amazing Spider-Man deep dive. But I fully agree with you. I don't think he I mean, he could have been in like as one clip of him, but like not to they made it out that they were like that he was equally as important as like Electro, and he just wasn't.
Because they were saying, like, the entire trailers were like enemies unite, and it shows like Electro and Rhino, and then you get a little glimpse of Harry's Green Goblin, and it's like,
yes,
when does the Rhino ever cross paths with them?
And I mean, I get it. They're trying to do a Sinister Six thing and set it up, but they didn't take their time, which is what the MCU has done. They've taken their time, and that's why it works. They were like, okay, 2 movies into this new Spider-Man franchise, let's introduce the Sinister Six. And it's just like, no. Now, the shot at the end of the guy walking, and you seeing the Doc Ock tentacles
and the Vulture
and
wings.
The Rhino suit. Yes. It's like, okay, that is great. That's great. Yeah. Now don't fucking push it. And they pushed it, and it sucks.
Yeah. I also don't think, like, the way that they were getting the Sinister Six ready, I don't like... Okay, I prefer Green Goblin not being part of the Sinister Six.
I agree. I
think the perfect... Like, well, I can't say what a perfect Sinister Six lineup is because there's so many different Sinister Six lineups, but... in every single Sinister Six lineup, I think it works the best when Doc Ock is the leader.
I don't
like Green Goblin being the leader.
I don't like him being involved at all. I think he's too important.
He's like a lone wolf. He needs to be a lone wolf villain.
Yeah, because he can do all of this damage with or without 5 other people helping him out, and that's what's scary. I fully agree with you. But yeah, we'll definitely talk about these movies like in depth at some point. What's your number? What's your numbers? Wait, your number 7 was The Amazing Spider-Man 2. That's right. So we're on my number 6, right?
Yep.
My number 6 is Homecoming, Spider-Man Homecoming, 2017. Literally for the exact same reasons as Far From Home. I'm not going to get into them because it's the same thing. Like, it's just, I love this movie. Just not a great Spider-Man movie, and that's it. Now, the Michael Keaton scene, go fuck yourself. That's amazing. That's so incredible, dude. Oh my god, Michael Keaton is so good. Is so fucking good. Oh
dude,
my god.
Do you remember? Well, okay, so you haven't always been involved in the MCU, right? It wasn't until like fairly recently. You have always been involved?
No, that's the DCEU that I started recently.
Oh, okay. So
MCU I've been since Iron Man.
Okay, awesome, perfect. When Spider-Man Homecoming was announced, like that they were making it, do you remember when Michael Keaton was announced as the Vulture? Like, do you remember seeing that, or was it just like you watched the movie and you were like...
because I was not super active in the community on the internet. I didn't really know, and like I didn't follow the stuff. I just went and saw the movies. And I was 15, or I guess I was probably 14 when it was announced. So I was still really petty about the entire Amazing Spider-Man situations. I was like, fuck this new movie. I don't care. Who cares? And at the time, I really didn't even know who Michael Keaton was. So even if I did see it, which I might have, it would not have affected me whatsoever.
Oh, okay. Because I've always been a Michael Keaton fan. And so when I found out that he was cast as Vulture, I was like fucking ecstatic. I was like, no way, one of my favorite actors is playing the Vulture? That's amazing. And he was so good.
Oh, he's amazing. I wish they would have given him more to do. Well, I just wish it were different. I shouldn't say more to do. I just wish it were different.
Because a lot of his motivation was against Iron Man.
Well, yeah, but not even that. Just in terms of how he wasn't very Vulture-y. You know, he was so clunky and like...
It was very,
I don't
very
know.
much... Yeah, it was very, very technical rather than rather than like an actual wingsuit like in the comics.
Yeah, and I would have loved that. I mean, and because they do it with Falcon and that kind of shit, but with Michael Keaton as the Vulture would have been amazing.
Yeah, I agree.
But instead he just kind of uses the wings as like a jetpack almost, just to go up and down. And it's like, okay, but like I would have liked to see like a really cool Vulture fight, which we got, but like, you know what I mean? As a
right. No, I totally know.
That
like him actually using, because the only time he really uses the wings is when he cuts the webs up. When Spider-Man webs him up on the ferry.
Yeah, it's like the Vulture part is like an afterthought almost.
Yeah. No, I do agree with you there.
Yeah, but it works enough because it's Michael Keaton, but if it weren't, it's like, okay, well, I want more Vulture, not
because
so
his best
that's really my only gripe.
And like his best scene in the movie is the interrogation in the car outside of the dance.
Yeah,
that's his best
nothing
scene.
to do with the Vulture. Yeah, it's that's like the best scene that's like a top 4 scene in the MCU.
I agree.
Okay, all right,
top 5 for maybe top 10 for sure.
Top 10, yeah. I was like, okay, there's been a lot of great moments.
It's definitely in the top 26 of the MCU movies.
Yeah, at least. There's there's that, and then like all the Iron Baby stuff, which I don't think he's Iron Man Jr. whatever. I just don't love that like he's like, oh, Mr. Stark. And it's just like that part is so fucking obnoxious.
Because his motivation in this movie is trying to prove himself. And it's like Spider-Man doesn't need to prove himself. Like, if anything, that's Miles. That's a Miles Morales motivation.
Oh my God, 100, dude! If Spider-Man: Homecoming was a Miles Morales movie, perfect.
Yeah,
perfect. Yeah. But it's not, and so it's just like I fully agree with you.
Now, what did you think? What did you think of it being revealed that Vulture was Liz's dad?
That was great.
Yeah. Did you see that coming?
That was great. To be honest, I don't remember.
Oh, okay.
I saw it in the theater. I just don't really remember my. Probably not. I probably didn't.
I didn't see it coming.
But again,
it threw me for a loop when I saw it in the theater.
Yeah, I was 15, so like movies just didn't work the same as they do with me now. So I probably didn't, but I probably also was just like, oh, that's crazy. But there is some really great stuff in this movie. It's just could have been geared towards a different character, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, what's your number 6?
Far From Home. Now I do kind of agree with you that Homecoming and Far From Home, it really depends on what mood I'm in. You know, but we've already talked about Far From Home, so I just want to say one thing. Two things that I absolutely love about this movie. Jake Gyllenhaal's Mysterio. In all of the trailers, they revealed him as the good guy, and I knew for a fact that wasn't the case. I knew he was going to be the bad guy because that's how it was in the comics too. He starts out as a good guy, tricking Peter. You know, framing Peter. So when it was revealed that everything was fake, which I like 100% saw coming, that was not a twist for me. I knew that was going to happen. I knew everything was fake. But when it was revealed that it was all fake, and then you get that Mysterio scene when he's in the parking garage, you know, and it's like it's that Mysterio scene. You know what scene I'm talking about? With all of the hallucinations that Peter's getting with the holograms.
Oh, like when it all just like.
Yeah, the Mysterio. No. The scene when he confronts him. When he goes to
I know exactly. Yes.
And
sorry.
all the holograms. It's the Mysterio scene.
I thought you were talking about when we found out that he was actually a bad guy. I'm sorry.
No, I'm talking about
that scene.
I'm talking about like the scene. Dude, I was like jumping in my theater seat. Like I was like, oh my God, this is Mysterio. This is the Mysterio I've always loved.
Oh yeah. That's that's one of the best sequences in the MCU. It's so good.
It's so good.
And it looks good, and it's the writing is great for that. I love it. With the Mysterio, what you were talking about in terms of you knew the twist was coming.
Yeah.
I obviously knew who Mysterio was in the comics, whatever. But because the MCU just kind of does what they want a lot of the time, which I don't think it's good or bad, I didn't know if they were going to have him be a bad guy.
Oh,
like,
no,
I could totally see them just having him, you know.
Yeah.
I just didn't know because it's the MCU. And so So like when it happened, I was like, okay, nice. I wasn't shocked, but I was like, okay, I'm glad that this is happening. And when the hologram started like fading away, I was like, this is great. That's amazing.
Absolutely.
That stuff works so well. But yeah.
The other thing that I love is honestly Peter and MJ's awkward high school crush relationship is so good because it is so real. It is so high school, because I had just graduated high school when that movie came out. Or no.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I had been out of high school for a year when that movie came out.
Oh, yeah, because it was like summer 2019.
Yeah, it was summer of 2019. So I had already been out of high school for a year, but it was still very much high school relationships that I remember it being when they were just so awkward and like when going on a field trip and wanting to sit next to your crush, but seeing another guy sit next to her and like looking at them the entire time. Like, I remember that. I remember those feelings. Yeah. And so when watching this movie, I was like, fuck, this is hitting me. And I'm like so rooting for him now. You know?
Yeah.
Because everyone goes through that.
Now that you've elaborated more, I 100% agree with you. It feels just like high school.
Yeah.
What I don't love, I and still to this day don't really buy their chemistry very much.
Really?
I don't know why. I just don't. I don't think it's bad. I'm not like, oh god. It's not like MJ and Peter from the Raimi trilogy and Spider-Man 3. It's not like that.
Yeah.
But it's just like I don't buy this. Like even after No Way Home, I get it a little bit more, but still, I'm just like, I don't think this works as well as everyone else does. So I don't love or hate it. I'm just kind of like neutral about it, but I do fully agree with what you said about the high school stuff.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, I don't have anything else to say about Far From Home because that was we're talking about Far From Home.
Yeah. So your number
I think the Ned and Betty stuff is really good. I think it's really funny. Because that's also so high school.
Yeah. And then,
dude, so high school.
Broke up. Yeah.
Yeah, dude, so high school to date for a week, fall in love, and like be married, and then break up and be like, no, didn't work out. You know?
Yeah.
So good. Ned is like arguably my favorite part of these movies. I fucking love Ned, dude. So funny.
Yeah.
So funny. Okay, Wait, sorry, do you have anything else to add?
Well, I was gonna say one thing. I think Tobey's movies have the best villains. You know, you have Green Goblin, Doc Ock, and Sandman. 3 of the best Spider-Man villains. Andrew has the best love interest with Gwen, and then Tom Holland has the best friend.
Yeah. Oh yeah, 100%, 100%. Because he's good. Well, for now, he's not like a dickhead who hates Peter, and like that's what has happened in the other. You know, he's great. He's so and like the Death Star stuff in the in, Homecoming is just so great and so real. Because like I could see that being you and me in high school, like, oh,
and when you
get to build a Lego Death Star when we get home, you know.
And when he gets caught helping Peter at the end of Homecoming, and he decides to just like make himself look bad rather than throwing Peter under the bus, and he's like, "I'm looking at
porn." Yeah, dude, it's so good.
Oh, okay, you're number 5. You're number 5.
This is probably going to be a 2-parter, unfortunately. Number 5 is. I wonder if you'll be shocked about this. What? Okay, you know what? Here's a fun game. What do you think my number 5 is?
Spider-Man 2.
No, it's not.
Is it The Amazing Spider-Man 2?
No.
Is it Spider-Man 1?
Yes. Spider-Man 2002.
Yeah. Okay.
This movie has like the most special place in my heart. I have loved this movie since I was a child. It's still really great. It's still a great movie. It still holds up.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, not even, people talk about movies holding up like visually, whatever, but this movie holds up like as a movie. Because I would say, like late 90s and early 2000s movies, I would say have aged the worst out of any era of film. Because it's just so specific and like such a specific and weird time of the world. And so Spider-Man really still works. And
yes, you know what? I totally agree. I totally agree.
Yeah. Yeah. Because, I mean, did you watch 85% of the movies that came out between 1997 and 2005? And they're mostly fucking pieces of shit. Okay? They're mostly really terrible.
Especially the
so, like,
action
this movie...
movies.
Oh, God. I mean, everything. I mean, like, 97 was Batman and Robin. That was the beginning of the end of cinema. Okay? And so... Spider-Man has such a special place in my heart, and it, depending on the day, you could say is my favorite Spider-Man movie just because of nostalgia and how much I love it. But you know, if I'm picking a movie to watch and it's a Spider-Man movie, it's probably not going to be that one, but it could be. You know, so that's why I put it in the middle.
Yeah, it's great. It's a great fucking movie. It really is. I will never dislike it.
It's so amazing. It is. It's the blueprint. It's one of the blueprints. I would say there are like I'd say there are like definitively 6 comic book movies that are the reason we have what we have today. Which that could be a whole different episode.
Spider-Man did though. You know what Spider-Man did? It proved that you can do a perfect balance of grittiness and fun. Because that movie, as dark as like the Green Goblin is, it is still a very fun movie. And because X-Men came out before, and it was very gritty, it was very dark, it was very political, which X-Men should be political. I'm not complaining. X-Men is a political comic run, but it was very real and very dark and gritty. Batman movies, those were obviously very dark, you know, and then they tried to lighten it up and it didn't work.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Because they did it too much.
Right. Exactly. And then the Superman movies, those were also a little too lighthearted. They're great, the first 2 at least, but they're very you know.
Yeah. There's 70s and 80s. You know.
I would
late
say
70s, early 80s. So yeah.
I would say Spider-Man is the movie that proved that you can do a perfect blend of the grittiness and lightheartedness.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because that movie is scary sometimes. Yeah. I mean,
the
Green Goblin stuff is like scared me when I was a kid.
Yeah. The Goblin scream when he like jumps out at Peter in the the building on fire.
Oh God! Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, when he has
yeah, dude. Yeah. Oh, that's right.
When he has the blanket on.
Now, a few things didn't age perfectly. Like there are some things I'm like, this definitely came out in 2002. But like overall, it's still such a oh my God, dude. Like that's a cute outfit. Did your husband give it to you? like that stuff is just, it's obviously so 2002, but it's so funny because it's, you know what I mean, and it still works for me. But this movie is very special to me. It's a great, I'd say, introduction to the character for anybody.
I have a lot to say that I'm saving for when we get to my spot.
Okay.
But
well, all I'll say is that the only like, I don't even want to say negative thing, but like the only like negative thing that I would take away from this movie, and I guess the other two, is that most
MJ's
people.
Nips.
Oh my God, that's right, dude. Oh my God, that's right. Every time I see that scene, I think about the scene in Terminator when you could see Arnold Schwarzenegger's penis. Don't know why. But the only negative thing really that I could take away from this movie, or like negative impact, is I shouldn't say, a lot of people think Tobey's Peter is the gold standard and what Peter Parker is. And
right.
I will disagree with that till the day I die.
Yeah, no, I disagree.
Which we can fully get into, which we won't today. But like people are like, well, you know, Tobey's the perfect Peter Parker, Andrew's the perfect Spider-Man, Tom's the best blend of both. Dude, if you ever say that, you live on the internet and don't know what you're talking about.
I said that for a while, but I was the one, I didn't say that because everyone else said it. I said that like on my end, and then a bunch of other people said it, and then people were telling them that they're wrong, and I was like,
Yeah, it's not a bad thing. It's just like people who don't read comics are like, no, that's Spider-Man. I'm like, well, yeah, but not really. You know, like it's not a perfect portrayal. So that's like the only negative thing I could take away from this movie. But I will save everything else for the deep dive.
You know what? I'll say. When it comes to a perfect Peter Parker, when it comes to his like attitude, not really. Stop that.
Sorry,
you're distracting me. I'm trying to stay focused here. When it comes to not necessarily motivation, but when it comes to just like how he acts and like how he is in school and stuff, I might say that Tom's Peter Parker is the most accurate, which is a perfect segue to my number 5, which is Homecoming.
Oh, well, here's what I'll say about that. I don't know.
Well, think of it this way.
It's so hard because there are so many versions of this character, obviously. But it's so hard because you could say, well, I think Tobey's is the best because he was super nerdy. And it's like, well, okay. And it's like, well, I think Tom Holland's the best because he does both really well and he's not bullied all the time in high school, but he's also not super popular. It's like, okay, I get that. But then it's like, I think Andrew's the best because he is attractive and Peter Parker is attractive and does well with women. And so it's like, right. I get that too. So it's just sincerely, I think it just depends on what version of the character that you like and or have read, if that makes sense.
The reason I'd say that Tom's is probably the closest is honestly because it is kind of a blend of like, yeah, don't get me wrong, he's still a nerd in high school, but he's not totally, well, he kind of is the butt of every joke with Flash at least, but
yeah,
Liz likes him in Homecoming. Yeah. We know that. It's very clear.
That's the thing. Girls like Peter Parker, and people don't get that. I don't know why. Like, people think he's ugly and terrible and gross. I'm like, no. Dude, no. Peter Parker fucks, dude. If he wanted to, he could fuck anybody. Dude. And especially, like, post-Spider-Bite. Because then he's, like, a fairly confident human being in his own skin. And also physically, more attainable, I guess. But, yeah, I get what you're saying, though.
Now, I do want to say, as weird as the Flash is in these movies, in the Homecoming and in the Home trilogy, because he's not the ripped jock like he is in the comics, I kind of like this take on the Flash. Oh, well, not the Flash, on Flash.
Yeah, when you keep saying that, I'm like...
Sorry, Flash Thompson, what? Eugene Thompson.
Eugene, yeah.
The reason I don't hate it is because that is a modern bully.
Oh, 100%.
Like, that is the bullies that I had in middle school, and not really high school, because I was pretty confident in high school, and like if someone tried to do that to me, I just tell them to shut the fuck up before I go fuck their mom.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so like in middle school, like I never got physically bullied. Well, I got physically bullied a little bit, but like not too bad. But
yeah, that
was where the main bullying was like just the mental torment, just the name calling and making, making everyone laugh at you.
Yeah. And it's always like fucks. It's not like big, strong guys. It's always these little fucks who are insecure, and that's why they do it. And that's exactly what Flash is.
Yeah, exactly.
And in that aspect, I love it. I think it's great because that is what bullying kind of is for most people. I just don't, because I love Spider-Man and the character's world that he lives in. I don't love it because it's just like they didn't have to make it like the first two. Like, they could have done their own thing. I just don't love it. But in that regard, fully agree with you. Like, that is. Yeah. The modern bully. So I fully get with you. So number 5 for you is Homecoming?
Yeah. I won't say anything else because I've already pretty much covered everything I love about that movie. So what's your number 4?
Yeah, it's a great movie. Number 4. Dude, top 4 you could just swap and it wouldn't change. And it's crazy. For now, number 4 is No Way Home.
Perfect. That's mine.
Yes. Amazing.
Perfect.
It's so hard to even put on this list because it's like, yes, it's a Spider-Man movie, sure, but all it's trying to do is bring these versions of the characters together, not necessarily adapt this character like the other movies are. It's just trying to bring 3 generations of fans together and 3 generations of Spider-Man together. So it's like, it's almost not even worth putting on this list because it's such a different movie, you know?
I think this is Tom Holland's most Spider-Man movie.
Oh, of course. Well, that's like by the end, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, do I love that it took 6 appearances to get here? No, but not bitching either. You know.
Well, it's you. I mean, people had problems with the first 2 Spider-Man movies, and then by this third one, they realized that the entire trilogy is an origin. And in all honesty, I'm kind of okay with that.
I would be if it wasn't like each movie just kind of did the same thing. Because instead of it being, it's like, okay, the first one he's trying to prove himself. He wants to become an Avenger. And then by the end, he's okay with being the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. And he doesn't want to be an Avenger anymore. And he doesn't need to prove himself anymore. And then the second one, he's like just trying to do that again, but with a different person that's not Tony Stark. And then, so it's just like, okay, I get what you're saying, but he essentially like becomes Spider-Man at the end of every movie that he has. And that's like my only thing with it.
Far From Home, though, gave us a couple of things. And I think the main one is obviously he strengthened his spider sense a lot. We got an entire movie about his spider sense, basically, which is great. But also, this movie really does show a lot of the responsibility with Spider-Man because he doesn't want to do all that shit. He's on vacation. He's trying to win over MJ, you know?
Yeah.
And then it's Nick Fury that tells him, you have to do this. And that's when Peter is like, fuck, you're right. Shit, I do have to do this.
That's true.
You know?
That's true.
And it is, I've in all honesty, I've kind of come to the exception that Tony Stark is his Uncle Ben in the MCU. Like,
yeah,
I've kind of accepted that at this point. And so he's not only like in the first movie he's trying to prove himself, but in this one it's like he feels the need that he has to live up to Tony. And then that's when Happy says like, no, you don't. You're nothing like Tony. You're you know? But No Way Home.
I get it. I agree. Yeah. Back to Die Hard.
No Way Home, when it comes to just a Spider-Man movie, you know, not including all the multiverse stuff, that one also really shows with great power comes great responsibility. Because first of all, Aunt May says it, which was awesome when she said it. What? Go ahead.
I'm not saying I don't like it because she said it. I just think the way they did it was kind of corny, and her delivery was also kind of corny, and like just the whole like this is the last thing I'm gonna say before I die to you. It's just like a little like, okay, well.
But she didn't
I don't
really
know.
realize she didn't know she was dying.
I know. It's just like, I don't know. Just the way it happens. I just don't.
I liked it.
I don't hate it. I just am like, this doesn't hit me like I want it to,
well,
because that
also,
is like. Go ahead. It's good.
No. Sorry. I'm sorry. You finished. I didn't mean to.
No, I was just saying like it's because like that is when Peter hears that phrase, like that's an important moment no matter what adaptation, no matter what version, no matter what movie, whatever the fuck you like that is important. And
yes.
like just to me, like watching the movie, Aunt May being almost irrelevant through the entire series until now is also what did it for me. It's like personally, I don't think this is objective. I know most people disagree, but I don't feel I didn't feel the weight of it because I feel like I personally didn't really care about her character that much until this movie, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So just it didn't hit me as hard as the other two did. But I don't hate that she said it. I feel like some people are like, it should have been Uncle Ben. Great, whatever. It's the third time in a row we're seeing this live action. You can change things around. I just didn't love the way that they did it. That's it.
Okay, that's fair. The one thing I did like, because it's a subtle change, is rather than saying with great power comes great responsibility, she said with great power there must also come great responsibility. Because that's how it's said in the comics. So when she said it like that, I was like, oh, I like that subtle.
Well,
touch.
another thing
that was nice.
that people get wrong is they're like, no, Uncle Ben needs to say it. It's like, well, Uncle Ben didn't even say it first in the comics. If you really want to get deep with it, I mean, Peter Parker said it first. So if you want to say Uncle Ben has to say it because it's like, no, Aunt May can say it. You're just a piece of shit. Don't know what you're talking about. But I do like that. I fully agree with you. I do really like that part.
Yeah. Now I was just gonna say, like, getting into the actual like multiverse part of it. Unless you had something else
this
to
movie.
say.
No, I don't know. We'll probably deep dive every single Spider-Man movie. Which honestly, in a row, could be a fun thing to do. But like a series almost. But
yeah,
I don't know. It's the more you think about this movie, the less good it is. If you really, you know what I mean?
No,
for me.
I disagree. I was thinking about that earlier, that a lot of people are saying that No Way Home isn't as good anymore, and I disagree. I still think it's a great movie.
No, I disagree with like people like, oh yeah, like it didn't age well or it's just nostalgia. It's like no, it's a good movie. It's a well-made, great movie. Obviously, nostalgia is the front is like what we're paying attention to, and that's the point. But also, there's a bunch of other great stuff going on. I shouldn't say the more you think about it, the less good it is. The more you start to like think about and like dissect the spell and how everything happens, it's like the less sense it makes, the less enjoyable it is for me. So I just try not to think about it. But like, what were you intending on talking about with the multiverse stuff?
Oh, I was just gonna say that I think it worked really well. You know, I think with the other Spider-Men, the fact that they were only in the final act, you know, it was still very much Tom's movie, and they didn't distract from the rest of the movie at all. I loved that. And then the dynamics we got between the three of them was perfect. You know, like 100%. Going into the movie, I was hoping, because everyone knew that they were in it. You know, even though none of the marketing said anything, everyone knew that they were in it.
Yeah, I was really hopeful. I'll shut up for now. When we talk about No Way Home, I'll talk more about this. Sorry, but go ahead.
I just want to say, I was really hoping that they at least bring up the fact that Toby has organic webs, and they did, like a couple of times, and I thought it was great.
I mean, one of the best scenes in the movie is just those three talking, and that's why it's great. Is because it works so well. And did you see the More Fun Stuff version?
I did.
To be honest, didn't add much for me. No. I thought it was a fairly pointless release, to be honest, because it didn't extend much. It added like 1 10-second scene, and then that scene of them talking was longer, and then the post-credit scene was different. That's it.
Yeah.
Should that be on the physical release? 100%, but that's a different conversation. But like that, those moments of those three talking, and then also talking about things that we've seen and haven't seen. We never saw Andrew stop pulling his punches, but it's nice to know that something happened after the Amazing Spider-Man 2. But then there's also, I love that they're talking about what happened in a movie that came out 20 years ago. Like, that's so amazing to me. So I fully agree with you there. Like, that multiverse stuff works great.
Yep. And some, dare I say, Willem Dafoe's Green Goblin was better in this movie. Because he was so much more. I'm not saying he's bad in the first movie. I'm just saying in this movie, he got so much more because I was so happy that they were finally acknowledging the fact that Green Goblin is Spider-Man's nemesis and he does the most damage to him. And if
no matter what Spider-Man it is.
Right,
either.
right.
Doesn't
and
matter which Peter Parker it is.
Like the glider impaling him, that happens in the comics too. You know, in the first Spider-Man movie when he dies, that happens the same way in the comics when he uses the glider to get Peter and then Peter flips over it using his spider sense and then it impales him. If that didn't happen, you know, Green Goblin would do so much more damage. Obviously, he had done a lot of damage because even in the comics, he kills Gwen. But Green Goblin is such a menacing villain. But because he died in the first movie, a lot of people don't realize how menacing of a villain he is. So in this movie, when they really showed that he is the main villain, oh my God, it was amazing.
Oh, I fully agree with you there. And now that you've said it, I agree. I just didn't like Norman as much in this movie.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Well,
I like the Goblin stuff, but like the... I know that it's been 20 years since he's played the character, but a lot of the Norman stuff was like, why is he acting like a little boy? Like, even before being the Green Goblin, he was a pretty menacing person, just as a businessman. You know what I mean?
And that's what got me thinking, was the Green Goblin ever really gone? Because I know that there was that spider sense scene when he senses the goblin, like, fully emerge again, but like throughout the movie, even when it was Norman like talking to Aunt May in the feast area, the entire time I'm like, I think this is still the Goblin in control.
Interesting.
I mean,
I think there's an argument to be made that he's never not in control,
right?
But that he maybe loosens the reins a little bit. That is interesting theory. I've never thought about that. If that's not the case, I just was like, this doesn't feel like Norman from the first movie.
No, it doesn't.
This feels like a different character. Which, what they did is a very difficult thing, and it's very difficult to make these characters feel like they did 20 years ago. It's just like I don't know. Like I said, he just feels like a lost little boy in a toy store, and it's just like. Right. Now the scene where he's like. I went to my house isn't there, like where's my son, like that's great because it's like he's in a whole other world, he's lost, but like just in terms of the character, he's not menacing, he's like a little frail little baby boy, and it's just like, okay, well, I like Norman in the first movie, but I agree with you, the Goblin stuff was even better in No Way Home. But what's your number 3?
Spider-Verse.
I knew it'd be high for you. I know we've already talked about it, and again, we're gonna fully go into it at some point. I get it. I fully get it. Well,
I'll just say
I almost get it.
I'll just say one thing, because I would totally dedicate an episode to this, like before the next one comes out. I loved Miles's origin. Loved it. I thought it was fucking great. I think the leap of faith scene when he finally has the suit and he's swinging through the city, holy shit. Phenomenal. The song, also just the album in general is so good. But yeah, I absolutely love this movie. I won't say much else because I do want to save it for an episode. So yeah, what's your number 3?
Yeah. The Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Nice.
Just because, like we said, there's an argument to be made that in terms of Spider-Man-ness, this is the best one. It's like it's tied for me with this and another one, which we'll talk about. It does what it does right. It does perfect. What it does wrong, it does hard. You know, but that's why it's so high. It's because I love it so much. Just as a Spider-Man movie, and I love Andrew in it.
I think Gwen's death, although Like the fact that it happened from Dane DeHaan's Green Goblin, you know, like I already said how I feel about his Green Goblin, but
yeah.
Just the death scene alone, you know, just from the point of her falling to her in his arms, like that entire scene gets me every single time. It is perfect.
Yeah. It is you could not do that scene any better anytime anywhere else. It is perfect, and it is a great, I mean, I love when people do like new takes on old comic stories, but I love that she's wearing the same outfit that she was wearing when she died in the comics. And like it's just the capability of Andrew Garfield is so incredible. I mean, he's the raw emotion that he gives in that scene. It's devastating. It's so sad. Now, sorry, I just don't want to forget this.
Go ahead.
He apparently in a different cut of the movie went back up and started beating the shit out of the Green Goblin, which is nuts. And honestly, that I'm glad they cut out. I think it ended well with him. Well, I don't know. I'd have to see it, but I want
to see it because I've known about that since it came out too. Because it was cut because the movie would have been rated R. Because it was so.
Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know that. That's awesome.
The reason it was.
Well,
cut,
have you seen like the non-edited version of him turning into the Goblin as opposed to the movie's cut?
Yes.
Because it's a lot more gruesome how they wanted to do it. Like his teeth crushing into themselves.
Them.
Oh,
yeah.
Yes, dude. Oh my God. Like that. If they let Mark Webb do what he wanted to do, this would have been the best Spider-Man movie to date. No questions asked. But but I agree. The scene, the Gwen scene, I would have been curious to see that part happen.
The last time I watched it, which I don't remember when it was, but the last time I watched it with subtitles, and it was my first time watching it with subtitles. And there's a moment in her death scene because he like mumbles something to her. It's like the last thing he says in that scene, and I could never really hear what he said. And then I'm watching it with the subtitles on, and what he says, no. I always thought he said, "I can't do this anymore." When he's holding her, and the last thing he says, I always thought it was, "I can't do this anymore," because that's what I heard. I watched this. I rewatched the movie with subtitles on. He says, "I can't do this without you." I legit started crying because I had no idea that's what he said. I actually started crying.
Thinking about the scene right now makes me want to cry.
Yeah, I was like, that hits so much harder than "I can't do this anymore." The "I can't do this without 100%. You." I was like, oh my God. Have you seen? Sorry.
It's not confirmed by Mark Webb or Andrew Garfield, but rumor has it that was a one take scene, and that's one and done. And it's just like amazing.
I know that Andrew hated filming that scene because they were together during that movie.
And he apparently didn't see her for a week before they shot it either.
Yeah,
which is interesting. Yeah. Dude, it's just, oh man, I'm devastated just thinking about this. It's so stupid. It's just a fucking comic book movie. Oh man. Yeah, go ahead.
Did you see the deleted scene with his dad?
Oh, the alternate ending? Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about this. I don't want to talk about this on this episode because I want to talk about on the Amazing Spider-Man 2 deep dive. But yes, I've seen it.
Okay.
Yes, I have seen it, and oh my God. What's your number 2?
Spider-Man 1.
Oh, that's right. Because I forgot that you hadn't covered that one yet. And
yeah.
I mean, tomorrow that could be my number 2. It's the top 4 or 5 are just so hard because they're all really great, you know?
Yeah. I'll say, and since we already talked about it, there's one thing I wanted to say that I was saving for when we got to my ranking. Not only is it, I think, the best Spider-Man origin, I think it is the best superhero origin movie. I think it's better than Iron Man. I think it's better than Batman Begins. It is a perfect Spider-Man origin, and just it's the best superhero origin movie in my opinion. I don't think anything will top it, in all honesty.
I may agree with you. It's hard because there's variables for me, like 1978 Superman. I love his Superman origin in that movie. And honestly, same with Man of Steel. I really like the Man of Steel origin.
That's a great
one.
But
I think I agree. I mean, I'd have to really think about it, but I do think that I agree with you.
Well, it's because
wait, are you saying it's not X-Men Origins Wolverine?
No, it's
got Origin
Daredevil.
in the title, broin.
It's
God!
It's the Ben Affleck Daredevil movie.
About Daredevil. Or
and then, but on another day, it's Green Lantern.
Oh fuck! Oh, we have to do like a bottom 10 ranking, like bottom 10 origin movies, dude.
Right.
Oh, that's funny.
But like Superman origins can be very different, because look at like the Man of Steel origin and the 78 origin. You know, they're very different.
Yeah.
Batman's origin can be, you know, shift around a little bit, even, you know, as long as he's a billionaire who, you know, whose parents get shot when he's 10. Like, there's so many superhero origins that can change and have changed. Spider-Man's is so direct. It's so precise with his origin. And this movie perfectly nails it. Perfectly.
Yeah. Yeah. It's I saw recently a screenshot of the scene where Uncle Ben, I think, is reading the paper, and Aunt May just comes up and like says, I forget, it's one of the earlier scenes, obviously he's alive. And at first I thought it was a meme, because I'm just so used to like memes in this kind of format, but it wasn't. It was just a screenshot with some text of the dialogue. And I was like, you know what? If you want to talk about comic accuracy or adaptation or whatever the fuck, like, this is it. Like, this is it. Like, if you want to, like, here's how I kind of look at it. Like, Andrew, I would say, is like the ultimate comics. Toby, I would say, are like Amazing Fantasy number 15. Yeah, like it's that. Like, it is like an incredible adaptation, and it works so well. And honestly, I agree. I think it's the best origin. It's got to be. It hits all the marks so well.
And then Green Goblin's origin, you know, mirroring Peter's throughout the movie is so so
same night, happens in the same night.
So yeah, that's all I'll say about it.
Yeah, well, don't worry, audience. We're gonna talk about these movies more. Don't worry. This is just the beginning.
What's your
number?
No,
my number two. Yeah. The Amazing Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Now.
What? Oh, okay.
It's in the same spot. I'm good. Anyway, The Amazing Spider-Man.
Nice.
It's. Yeah, we've talked about it. Now, I may be like a little nostalgic about it, because that was the first Spider-Man movie that I saw in theaters, and I was 10. And I was blown away, and I saw it like 6 times in the theater, and I still love it now. Obviously, with age. Sorry,
I saw it
go
twice
ahead. You saw it when?
I saw it opening day when I was 12, and I saw it twice.
It's an amazing. It's an incredible Spider-Man movie, with some things that I wish were different, but you know, even with age, I still love it. I think it's still a really good movie.
It is a great movie, even though it's my least favorite. I still love it.
Yeah, and honestly, if you're not going to show someone Spider-Man 2002, I think it's a pretty good introduction to the character.
Sure.
Sure. Now, if it had the tone of The Amazing Spider-Man 2, I think it'd be a great introduction to the character. Yeah. But because Sony was like, "Oh, look, The Dark Knight did really well. Let's do that, but Spider-Man, you know. Let's turn the contrast up, you know." But other than that, yeah, it's number 2 for me. What's your number 1?
We have the same number 1.
All right, see you guys next week.
It's Japanese Spider-Man.
Oh my god. Yeah, it's with the machine guns, dude. So funny.
And the fucking robot.
Yes. Oh my god. It's Spider-Man 2.
Spider-Man
2004.
2. The perfect Spider-Man movie. It's the perfect Spider-Man movie. It perfectly shows Peter struggling between Peter Parker's life and being responsible like Spider-Man. You know, he's struggling with his job. He's struggling with school. He's struggling with rent. He's struggling with girl problems. All because he's Spider-Man. And he can't tell anyone.
Oh my god, yes. I 100% agree. You know what? I think here's something to say that I don't know if anyone else has said. I thought you'd see her. Oh. Emma. Like 5 minutes. Why? Okay. Sorry. Parker. Oh. It's not only like arguably the best Spider-Man movie, it's the best Peter Parker movie.
Yeah.
Because this is a Peter Parker movie. It's about how hard it is to balance all the things he's got going on. I mean, it's already hard to be a person. Okay, it's already so difficult to exist without being a superhero.
Right.
Now imagine throwing being responsible for the entire city into it.
Yeah.
Like it balances that so well.
And Alfred Molina's Doc Ock is.
Oh man.
The train, dude,
man.
the train fight. That train fight to this day is still one of the best superhero fight scenes fucking ever.
Oh,
the choreography,
5,
the action. Sure. Oh my god.
The CG still looks fine.
CG is still
for
great.
like 99% of the CG in this movie looks, dude. The shot of him swinging and it's super quiet. First of all, beautiful scene.
I know
right
exactly
before he loses his
about.
powers.
Yep.
And it's that fully CG shot, dude, and it looks incredible. And it's like, really? We got this in 2004, and then this is what he looks like in 2021's No Way Home?
I know.
Oh, yeah?
I know. It's
but
crazy.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, dude, this movie is it's amazing. It's so great. And I think all of the characters are at their peak in this movie.
Yep.
You know? Have you ever seen the Spider-Man 2.1?
Yes. Yes, I have.
When JJ has the suit on, dude, it's so funny.
Oh my gosh. Also, he's the best in this movie too. Yeah. You're right. Everyone's at their peak.
You want to talk about the best comic book casting? It's him. It's 100% him. He is J. Jonah Jameson, and no one else will ever be. And you know what?
Yeah.
Disney's smart for that. Because they realized we can't do better than what Sam Raimi did. Let's just bring all these characters back.
Right.
That's smart.
But bringing him back wasn't even a multiverse thing. They just brought him back because they knew that they should.
Yeah. Well, yeah, 100%. Like seeing him, dude. Honestly, No Way Home was so exciting, but seeing him at the end of Far From Home was so fucking exciting.
Yes.
Oh my god. Like that was the beginning. That was the beginning of it.
Yeah.
That was like, oh my god. They could actually maybe pull this off.
Yeah.
And then,
yes, I agree.
Say what you want about the movie, but at the end of Venom: Let There Be Carnage, when you saw Tom Holland on the TV screen, I freaked the fuck out in the movie theater, dude.
No.
Oh my god.
That
really?
I was a little okay. I'm gonna tell you why I was disappointed with that. Oh, I shouldn't say disappointed. Okay, so I saw Venom opening night. I saw Venom: Let There Be Carnage opening night.
Mm-hmm.
All of the early screenings for the movie said that people were jumping in and out of their seats during that after credit scene. So
didn't know
in
that.
all honesty,
yeah,
I was expecting Andrew.
Oh, Sony.
I was fully expecting this to be them announcing that the Venom movies take place in the Amazing Spider-Man universe, and and that's how they were gonna bring Andrew back. So when I saw that it was Tom, I was like, oh, okay, that's still cool, but that's not what I was expecting. Like, that's not what I was kind of hoping for.
It wasn't the fact that it was Tom Holland. It was just the fact that this is real. The multiverse stuff is happening, and they're doing it. And that was what was so exciting. Now, in your defense, I get it, because I didn't have that experience. I didn't hear about all that shit.
Oh, okay.
I just heard stay for the post-credit scene. I was like, oh, okay, it must be really cool or something. Was not expecting it. So when I saw it, I was like, oh shit, first Far From Home and now this. Like,
yeah,
of course they're bringing Tobey and Andrew back. So that was why I was so stoked.
I've been saying that. I've been saying it since the Spider-Verse movie. I was like, someday they're going to do a live-action Spider-Verse with Tobey and Andrew and Tom. It's going to happen. They're going to do it. And I was right. I've been saying it since the beginning, and I'm proud of that.
I was never a denier. I was just it was such an out there idea. And that's why the Tom Holland thing in Venom Let There Be Carnage was so big for me, because it's not the fact that, he sees Spider-Man. It's like, oh my God, like these completely, for years and years and years and years, separated universes are now coexisting, and they're actually doing it. Like, seeing that and knowing that and what it meant, I was like, holy shit. Now Spider-Verse could be a thing, you know?
Why didn't we say all this when we were talking about No Way Home?
Why? I don't know. How did we get here?
Yeah.
Anyways. Back to see you guys next week.
Back to Die Hard. Yeah.
Well, I am just bummed that it didn't lead to really anything much in No Way Home. It just kind of went back, which I'm sure they're planting something because there's still some symbiote in the MCU. I get it, but what a letdown. You know what I mean?
Oh no, I'm so happy that he wasn't actually in the movie.
No. I didn't want him to be a villain in the movie, but like, I didn't want them to send him back. Like, maybe he could have been in the next one, not as the villain, but just there. You know, maybe they could have interacted in some way, shape, or form. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But overall, every Spider-Man movie is great in its own way.
Yep. Agreed. And Spider-Man 2 will always be my favorite.
It's really great. It's an amazing movie. Even if you don't like Spider-Man, it's a great movie. It's a fantastic movie. I mean, the Peter Parker stuff, like we talk about, could have been the whole movie, and I would have been fine, because that is the best part of that movie. That's why he's relatable.
You know what? Going off of that, you know what is my favorite scene in the movie, and I think it's like my favorite Spider-Man scene ever. It's just it really shows Spider-Man's core character. And it's not even when he has his powers, it's when he's as Peter. And it's when he runs into the burning building and saves the kid without his powers.
Yeah.
It's
amazing.
So good.
Have you seen the edit where he's eating the hot dog when the building's on fire?
And the kids
he walks away.
Yes. Oh my
god. That's why Spider-Man is so relatable to. That's why he's so popular, is because he's relatable. I have struggled to pay my rent before. I have struggled to balance everything in my life, you know, let alone being a superhero. Like, I get it, and I think that is why he's so loved and so important, you know?
Absolutely.
Well,
love you, bye.